All right, I'm Greg Stewart. I'm here at VMworld in the Hang Space, sitting at the bloggers table, coming to me from VMworld 2013. My blog is vdestination.com, and this will be posted on there shortly. I'm here with a guest today, Nick Fritsch. He did a little guest post on my blog about PC over IP just recently. He runs his own blog. I'm going to let him introduce himself. Tell me a little bit about yourself and my readers who you are.
Sure. So, Nick Fritsch, I've been with VMware for about 2 months now. I'm a associate systems engineer, and what that means is I cover commercial accounts in the Ohio Valley area, southern Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana. Just get my feet wet. A lot of big announcements today that I can finally talk about, which is exciting. I've had to keep them all a secret for the past few weeks. So very excited that it's all out in the open now.
Very good. So let's jump right in. Let's talk about some of the things that were released today. I'm sure everybody out there on the Twitter sphere has kind of already got an idea of what their announcements were. But let's talk about 5.5. What can you tell us about 5.5 that we don't already know? What are you excited about?
So for me, I was a customer for 8 years, about 2 years ago. So the things that excited me from the customer perspective was first the 64 terabyte VMDKs.
Right.
Not having to use RDMs now, I think is huge. There are still some caveats there. If you want to grow larger than 2 terabytes, it does have to be offline.
Okay.
So it's not a showstopper, but good to know, right?
Yeah.
I think AppHA is not a game changer, but I like that functionality now that it's going to look inside the application, and if the application needs to be restarted from a service perspective. And I hope to see more functionality there around, running that into VMware services like vCenter, restarting vCenter is not working correctly.
Right.
So hopefully something like that functionality will come along. Other things for me from the 5.5 perspective, for me, the vCloud Suite, which they didn't touch upon today, vCloud Suite 5.5, they're actually rolling standard edition of vCenter operations in the vCloud Suite standard at no price change. So showing more value to customers, get them into the vCloud Suite standard and realize the software-defined data center.
Yeah.
They're also going to get a small piece of VCAC. So there's going to be a standard edition of Automation Center. So they're going to get to play with that functionality and hopefully realize the benefits of that self-service portal.
Yeah, in the past, it's really been kind of marketed more towards the large enterprise businesses, and the smaller guys be able to get in there and play now with vComps and some of the things we talked about is huge for them. I know I've worked for probably 3 or 4 different smaller SMBs that really have been hampered by the licensing of those kind of things. So it seems like with every release, they're kind of rolling some things back and letting other people get their hands on it, really have the opportunity to grow their environment. So that's really good.
Yes.
And I know they talked a lot about, there's some bumper stickers going around that says apps love vSphere, right? Or vSphere love apps.
Yes.
So, what are we talking about when they say that? I know they talked a lot about it in the general session too. They've kind of been pushing that.
Yes. So it's everything's 2 times larger, right?
That is nice.
So some of the discussions I've had that have made sense. I got a little discussion about SRM today, about how to best design for SRM with vCenter and the database that goes attached, because you can kind of get yourself in a pickle there if you have physical databases that you then need to restore on the recovery side. So we talked about, since you can do these monster VMs now, why not just make a vCenter pod, vCenter with SQL installed on it, and Update Manager all in one VM, and you can build it to the size that it needs to be to perform because of the scalability options inside of vSphere now. Very cool. And then also, they're bringing in more monitoring, VCOps, App Monitor, Exchange, SQL, SAP. You can bring those dashboards in and actually, I hate to use single pane of glass, right? But within VCOps, I can monitor my SQL environment, my Exchange environment, my SAP environment without having to use, SCOM or something to manage that environment monitor.
Sure, perfect. And so, the kind of last thing I wanted to touch on was, you're a VMware employee. It's awesome. I'm sure you're loving that.
Yes.
But tell me a little bit, and let us know that some of us that are employees, let us know what is VMworld like from an employee's perspective. What kind of things that you do, what goes on behind the scenes, let us know what is it like for a VMware employee.
Sure. So I was actually lucky this year. Normally the SEs don't get to come to VMworld. At least that's been the norm prior years. So this year they have what they call Tech Summit. So it was VMware internal only training for the SEs.
Very cool.
So we had training up to this point, and then they brought us here and actually got us in front of the product specialists, the marketing groups, technical marketing groups, and basically gave us what the customers are doing this week with sessions. We basically had our own sessions. We got to pick our sessions, what we wanted to focus on. So we
strictly VMware employees.
VMware SEs, professional services, and TAM. Where basically we got our own kind of mini VMware to learn our own products. Because the reality of it is VMware has a lot of products, very technical products. So we got to get trained just as much as the customer has to.
Very cool. So what should we look for tomorrow in tomorrow's general session? Anything you can tell us that's not a big secret?
So tomorrow what you'll see, I don't know if I can actually use the term, but it's a secret internal project. It's called MOAD. I'll leave it up to you what you can figure out what that actually means.
Okay.
But that's what they're preparing for tomorrow. Obviously, the general session tomorrow is usually a little bit more technical. You're actually going to see some of the products that Pat talked about today in action.
Oh, very good.
So that's what we expect tomorrow from the general session. And from my perspective as an employee, I'm kind of free to do what I want to do. So I plan to talk to customers, whether it's my customers that I have that are here, or just anyone in general that wants to talk about something in the future. More than welcome to discuss and show value in what VMware has to offer.
Very cool. Well, Nick, I appreciate you being on. Should be a good day tomorrow. Another good keynote session, and we'll see some things, figure out what Moab is, and it should be fun. So I appreciate you joining me, and we'll do this again sometime. So.
Definitely.
All right.
Thanks, Greg.